The stars above the Earth were calm, but beyond them a storm was coming. Commander Jace Carter stood on the bridge of the human spaceship Vigilant Star. His short brown hair was messy, and his uniform was dusty from the last fight. But his eyes were sharp. They always stayed sharp even in the middle of danger. The human ship had been patrolling near the edge of Galactic Union space. Earth was still new to the Union. Most of the advanced alien species thought humans were just loud, strange, and too emotional. They didn't expect much from them. Jace didn't care what they thought. Suddenly, an urgent signal came through. A cargo fleet of the Galactic Union had been attacked by pirates. These were not small-time thieves. These were Zarnok raiders, ruthless aliens who attacked colonies, stole resources, and vanished before help arrived. The Union sent a distress call, but no nearby fleets could respond in time. Only one ship was close enough. Jace's ship. "Commander, it's risky," said Lieutenant Sarah, his second-in-command. "They outnumber us 5-1. Jace looked at the star map. The fleet in danger carried thousands of people, including ambassadors from many alien races. If they were captured or killed, it could start a galactic war. He made his choice. "Prepare. The ship for battle," he said. "We're going in." The crew obeyed without question. They had seen Jace in action before. He didn't freeze. He didn't panic. He fought smart, and he never left anyone behind. The Vigilant Star jumped into battle space. The fight was fierce. The Zarnok raiders had heavy weapons and fast ships. But Jace used every trick he knew. He hid in asteroid fields. He jammed their signals. He tricked them into firing at each other by turning their systems against them. Most of all, he inspired his crew. Even when their shields were low and the engine was damaged, he stayed calm. "We're not dying today," he said. "Not when there are people counting on us." After hours of battle, the human ship won. The pirates were defeated or fled. The cargo fleet was saved, injured, tired, and scarred, but alive. The news spread across the Galactic Union in minutes. A single human ship, led by a young commander, had saved an entire fleet. Even the ambassadors praised him. But far away in a dark and silent throne room, one person watched more closely than anyone else. Her name was Queen Zelyara. She ruled the Zelari Empire, one of the most powerful alien empires in the galaxy. Her people were known for logic, order, and strength. They did not trust outsiders, especially not humans. But Queen Zelyara saw something different. She had watched the battle through Union security footage. She had studied Jace Carter, his decisions, his bravery, and his strange human ways. He fought not for glory but to protect. He risked everything for lives that were not even his own people. Her advisors were speaking. They wanted to discuss new war strategies and border tensions. But the Queen stood up, her eyes still on the screen showing Jace's face. "I want him," she said. The room fell silent. "Your Majesty?" one of the generals asked carefully. "I want that human. Bring him to me." Meanwhile, Jace was still repairing his ship at a Union space station. He hated the attention. Alien reporters tried to ask him questions. Union leaders sent him medals, but he just wanted rest. He was eating a simple meal in the mess hall when an officer from the Union High Command arrived. "Commander Jace Carter," the officer said. "You are summoned to the Zelari capital." Jace raised an eyebrow. "What for?" "The Queen herself has requested your presence." Jace froze. The Zelari were not known for friendly chats. He had heard stories about how cold and controlling their empire was. Why would their queen want him? Still, orders were orders. The journey to the Zelari capital took 2 days. Jace traveled on a diplomatic cruiser. It was guarded by elite alien guards who said nothing the whole time. They simply watched him with glowing eyes, unsure if he was a guest or a threat. The capital planet, Virex Prime, was unlike anything Jace had seen. Giant black towers rose into green skies. Everything was sharp, clean, and quiet. No one smiled. No one laughed. Jace was led into the Queen's palace. It was made of shining, dark stone. The hallway felt more like a trial chamber than a throne room. Finally, the doors opened. Queen Zelyara sat on a tall seat of silver and crystal. She was tall, with pale blue skin and glowing golden eyes. Her armor sparkled and her crown was made of living metal. She looked at him with the eyes of a ruler, cold, calculating, and powerful. Jace bowed slightly. "You called for me, Your Majesty?" The queen stood up and walked slowly toward him. Her voice was deep and steady. "You are different from what I expected," she said. "Sorry to disappoint," Jace replied, trying to stay respectful. She tilted her head. "I watched you. You saved many lives. You fought without fear. Why?" "Because it was the right thing to do." "Strange," she said. "Most beings do what is useful, not what is right." Jace didn't answer. He just looked at her calmly. Queen Zelyara walked around him, studying him like a scientist looking at a strange new tool. "I want you to serve as my war advisor," she said suddenly. Jace blinked. "Excuse me?" "You will help me prepare for war. A threat is coming, a swarm that even my empire cannot handle alone." "Why me?" "Because you are unpredictable, and sometimes that is what wins wars." Jace thought for a moment. This could be dangerous, but it could also help protect millions of lives. He gave a slow nod. "All right, I'll help, but I'm not a puppet. I speak what I think." Queen Zelyara smiled slightly. It was small, but it was real. "Good," she said. "I do not want a puppet. I want a human." Far above the capital, the stars twinkled. Somewhere in the dark, something was moving. Something hungry. Something that would soon arrive. And when it did, the galaxy would remember the day the alien queen said, "I want him." Commander Jace Carter stood in front of the queen's throne, surrounded by strange alien guards with glowing blue eyes. Everything in the room was quiet and cold. The black stone walls held no paintings, no color, no feeling. It was not made to welcome guests. It was made to remind everyone that the queen of the Zelari Empire held all the power. And now, this queen, Zelyara, had chosen to speak directly to a human. "You will be my war advisor," she said again, her voice calm, but strong. "I have watched your mind in battle. It works differently." Jace stood tall, trying not to show how surprised he really was. "I'm honored, Your Majesty. But I need to understand. Why now?" Queen Zelyara looked at him with sharp golden eyes. "Because the danger is growing. The Draxan swarm is moving again." Jace had heard the name before. The Draxan were not like other alien races. They were more like a plague, huge insect-like creatures that destroyed entire planets. They didn't talk. They didn't stop. They didn't care for peace or power, only survival. "They are spreading," she said. "Faster than our fleets can stop them. They attack without pattern. They are not logical." "That's why you want me?" Jace asked. "Because I'm not logical?" The queen almost smiled. "You are emotional, reckless, but your instincts save lives. That makes you useful." Jace didn't like being called a tool, but he also knew she was right about one thing. The swarm had to be stopped. "I'll help," he said, "but only if I get to speak freely. I won't just nod and follow orders." "You may speak freely," she said, "but choose your words wisely. Some of my generals still think humans are fragile." Just then, one of those generals stepped forward. He was tall, with silver skin and red armor. His name was General Corrin. His eyes looked down on Jace with clear dislike. "This human is not fit to advise the throne," Corrin said. "He acts without discipline. He is ruled by emotion." "I am ruled by results," Jace replied, "and you can check the reports from the Union battle logs if you doubt that." Corrin looked angry, but Queen Zelyara raised her hand. "Enough. The human stays." From that moment, Jace was given a room in the Royal War Tower. He was watched closely by the guards and treated like a stranger. Still, he studied every file he could find about the Draxan swarm. He joined strategy meetings. He listened to the Zalari commanders. He gave suggestions, some of which shocked the others. Split the fleet? Madness. One captain said. Use firebombs in space corridors? Are humans always this wild? Asked another. But some listened. Some noticed that his strange ideas made sense in a fight without logic, and one of those who noticed most was the Queen. Each evening, Queen Zelyara called him to her private war chamber. There were no guards in that room, only a round table with glowing star maps, and the two of them alone. She studied him as much as she studied the stars. You humans don't fear death the same way, she said once. Why? Jace thought for a moment. Maybe because we know we only get one life, so we make it count. She looked at him quietly. That is different. My people serve the Empire for generations. We are raised to sacrifice all for duty. Duties, important, Jace said. But without choice, it's just control. That sentence made her pause. No one had spoken to her like that before. One night, while reviewing recent swarm attacks, a strange pattern caught Jace's attention. They're hitting border colonies, he said, but skipping the big military bases. Queen Zelyara nodded. They go for the weak, that is known. No, Jace said. This feels directed, like they're avoiding strong targets, like someone is telling them where to go. The Queen narrowed her eyes. You think they have a spy? I think you do, Jace said. And that spy is inside this palace. The next few days were tense. Jace worked with a small team of mixed species officers, some who trusted him, others who didn't. He spoke with guards, checked data logs, watched for strange behavior. Meanwhile, the Queen faced pressure from her own court. General Corrin spoke in council meetings with anger. The human spreads doubt. He weakens morale. He insults our honor. He speaks the truth, the Queen said simply. You defend him too quickly, Corrin growled. Some say you are too close to this human. The room grew cold. Queen Zelyara stood from her throne and looked down at him. I choose warriors who win, not ones who whisper behind walls. That night, someone tried to break into Jace's room, but he had already set a trap. A silent alarm went off. Jace jumped out of bed and tackled the shadowy figure to the floor. Guards rushed in. When the lights came on, everyone froze. It was one of the Queen's own tech advisors, the spy. In the royal court the next day, the spy stood in chains. He confessed under truth serum. He had been sending fleet data to the Draxan, swarm using hidden beacons. He believed the Zalari Empire had grown too proud and needed to fall. The Queen stood before the court. All eyes were on her. This human uncovered the truth, she said. While others argued, he acted. She turned to Jace. Your words saved lives. Your instincts saw what we missed. Jace simply nodded. It wasn't just me. Your people helped. Some of them trusted me. That made the difference. Queen Zelyara looked at him with something close to respect. Trust is rare in this palace, but I am learning. Later, on the palace balcony, she spoke to him alone. The swarm is coming faster now, she said. They know we are aware. Then, we hit them before they're ready, Jace said. Take the fight to them. She turned to him. Would you lead a squad of mixed-race fighters, not just humans? Zalari. Union. All species together. Jace didn't even pause. Yes, she gave a small nod. Then we prepare. He looked at her. Why me? Really? She answered with a voice both firm and soft. Because I do not need perfect soldiers. I need someone who sees what others cannot. Someone who dares. You dare, Jace Carter. Their eyes met for a long moment. Then the Queen stepped back into the shadows, and Jace looked to the stars, where a greater war was coming. The silence of space was broken by the sound of alarms. A Zalari colony on the edge of the Empire was under attack. The Draxan swarm had arrived. They came like living shadows, giant insect-like ships, fast and deadly. Their weapons melted steel. Their claws tore through defenses. They did not send messages. They did not ask for peace. They came to destroy. Queen Zelyara stood in her command center, her golden eyes cold and focused. Around her, officers reported damage across multiple colonies. "The swarm is moving faster than we expected," said one captain. "They've hit 3 outer posts in 2 days." Another added, "Civilian panic is growing. We've lost contact with Station Number 4. The Queen turned to Commander Jace Carter, who now stood beside her, dressed in Zalari black armor, with a small human flag on his shoulder. "Your plan," she said. Jace nodded and stepped toward the map of the galaxy. "They're not just attacking," he said. "They're testing us. They want to see how we respond, so we respond in a way they don't expect." He pointed to a small, unimportant mining moon called Arcanus 7. "We fake weakness here," he said. "Make it look like we've abandoned it. When the swarm comes to feast, we hit them hard, with a mixed squad of elite fighters hidden underground ready to strike." General Karan frowned. "Use a planet as bait? That is reckless," Jace answered calmly. "It's a trap. But only if we spring it right." Queen Zelyara looked at both men, then said, "Prepare the team." The team Jace assembled was unlike any other in Zalari history. A Zalari sharpshooter named Varnax, a 4-armed tech alien from the Union named Meki, a human pilot, Lieutenant Sarah, brought in from Earth, a silent crystal warrior called Threx who only spoke through colors, and Jace, the only person crazy enough to lead them all. They trained in secret. They studied the Draxans' attacks. They rehearsed inside cold caves and storm tunnels. The Queen watched from above, saying little, but always observing. "You trust them?" she asked Jace one night. "I trust what they choose to fight for," he replied. "That's enough." Soon the Draxan swarm came for Arcanus 7. Their ships fell like black snow, silent and cold. But when they landed, they found no people, no defenses, only a quiet town and old mining tools. They began to spread, crawling into buildings, searching for food and power. Then the ground exploded. Jace and his team attacked from below using tunnels to ambush the enemy. Fire lit the sky. Alien claws met laser blades. Smoke rose above the rocks. Jace moved fast, his rifle sharp and his orders clear. "Varnax, take the tower. Meki, shut their power. Sarah, give us eyes in the sky." The battle was wild. The swarm hissed and screeched. Threx glowed red with rage, his crystal sword cutting through enemies with silent fury. Even General Corrin, watching from a safe command ship, had to admit it was working. But the Draxan had a surprise of their own. From the dark side of the moon came a new kind of ship, larger, faster, and covered in strange armor. It dropped a Draxan leader twice the size of the others with golden plates and burning red eyes. It moved straight toward Jace. "Fall back," he yelled. "That one's different." The team scattered. The Draxan leader chased Jace into a canyon. Rocks fell. Dust filled the air. Jace hid behind a wall and pulled out a grenade. "Let's see if you can think, bug." When the creature rounded the corner, Jace threw the grenade, then jumped off the cliff edge. The blast threw fire into the sky. The alien didn't die, but it was hurt, confused. Slower now. That was enough. Threx appeared from behind and struck with a heavy blow. The crystal blade sliced into the creature's chest. It screeched and fell. Jace landed hard on the ground below. His arm was bruised. Blood ran from his forehead. But he was alive. "We did it," he whispered, looking at the burning horizon. Back at the palace, Queen Zelyara stood before the Galactic Union Council. News of the mission had already spread. The Union leaders watched her with interest. "You used a human-led squad?" asked a green-skinned diplomat. "I used warriors who could win," she said. Another asked. "Even your enemies admit the trap worked. But is your empire truly ready to mix its forces?" Queen Zelyara looked calm, but her words were strong. "The future will not be won by one race," she said. "The swarm does not care who we are, so we must care for each other." In the war tower, Jace sat with his squad, now being called the Fire Team Unbroken. Varnax cleaned his rifle. Meki danced in a circle, clicking happily. Sarah handed Jace a cold drink. "You nearly got crushed, Commander," she teased. Jace smiled. "Just a normal day." Then the door opened. Queen Zelyara stepped in, quiet as ever. The room grew still. Even Threx changed color to a deep blue. She looked at "You fought well," Jace stood. "We did what we had to." She walked closer. "And now we must do more." She placed a small device on the table. A 3D image of the galaxy appeared with Draxan attacks spreading. "This is only the beginning," she said. "They are not just soldiers. They are part of something larger. Something guided." "By what?" asked Jace. "That is what we must find out," she said. "Together." Later that night, Jace stood alone on the palace balcony. The stars above him were bright but heavy with danger. Queen Zelyara joined him. This time she wasn't wearing her armor, only a long dark robe, simple and quiet. "You risked your life again," she said. Jace shrugged. "I've done it before. But not like this," she said. "Not for people you barely know." Jace looked at her. "I know them now." She nodded slowly. "And they know you." He turned to her. "So what happens next?" She looked into the sky. "We take the fight to them." She paused, then added, "You are changing my empire, Jace Carter. One mission at a time." Jace smiled. "Good. Maybe it's time for change." And beside the alien queen, the human warrior looked out into the darkness. Not with fear, but with fire. The palace of the Zalari Empire stood tall like a dark mountain in space. Inside its shining walls, meetings were happening every hour. War maps glowed, voices argued, ships launched, but Commander Jace Carter walked through the quiet garden halls, thinking deeply. The stars above were calm, but his heart was not. After the attack on Arcanus 7, something had changed. The swarm had sent a leader, a smart one. That meant they were evolving, and worse. Someone inside the Empire had helped them before. A spy. Jace had caught one traitor already, but he felt something bigger hiding under the surface. He met with Queen Zelyara that evening, in her private strategy room. Only 2 guards stood outside the door. "I feel something is wrong," Jace said. The Queen looked at him carefully. "More spies?" "Maybe. Or maybe something worse." She walked over to a screen, showing movement from the outer systems. There have been quiet signals, deep space beacons. Old Zalari tech, very old. Jace looked at the data. Could be someone waking up something, or someone. She nodded. "We once had a secret weapon. Long ago, before I was born. It was called Project Ashgrave." Jace raised an eyebrow. "What was it?" The Queen hesitated. "A mind machine. It could link thoughts, control fleets without sound, but it was too strong. Too dangerous. We locked it away." "And you think someone's trying to use it again?" Jace asked. She nodded. "If the Draxan found it, they might be learning. Faster than we can stop them." Jace's face turned serious. "Then we need to move before they do." The fire team, unbroken, gathered inside the war tower. Meki clicked his metal fingers. "Mind machine? Bad. Very bad. I vote no." Threx turned purple, which meant agreement. Sarah, the human pilot, leaned on the table. "If it can control minds, then maybe." "The swarm is already using it." Varnax loaded his rifle. "Then we go in quiet, find it, break it." Jace looked at his team. "This won't be like the last mission. We're going underground, no backup. If something goes wrong, we may not come back." They didn't speak. They didn't need to. They were ready. Their target was an old research base hidden in the cold rings of planet Yorith 9. It was forgotten by most of the galaxy, covered in ice and silence. But as the team landed, they saw broken lights glowing under the snow. "Someone's been here," Jace said. The base was full of old tech, rusted doors, and shattered glass. Long metal halls echoed under their boots. They found logs from over 200 years ago, images of Zalari scientists, diagrams of brainwave weapons, and warnings written in red. Do not turn it on. But someone had. A soft hum echoed through the walls. Sarah found the source first. A deep room where a strange machine sat like a black heart. It had wires like tentacles and a pulsing blue core. "It's active," she whispered. Suddenly the doors slammed shut. Red lights flashed, and from the shadows came the enemy. They were not Draxon, they were Zalari, old soldiers or what was left of them. Their eyes glowed blue. Their faces were cold and blank. "The mind machine," Jay said. "It's controlling them." One of the soldiers spoke with a voice full of echoes. "You should not have come." Jace raised his weapon. "We're not leaving without shutting this down." Then the battle began. Barnack shot quickly, taking out 3 at once. Meki threw an electric bomb that fried the lights. Threx glowed orange and charged forward like a blade of fire. But they were outnumbered and something worse was happening. Jace felt a sharp pain in his head. The machine was trying to reach him. "Don't listen to it," he shouted. The voice grew louder inside his mind. "You are alone. You cannot win." He fell to one knee. Blood touched his lip. Sarah ran to him, grabbed his shoulders. "Fight it, Jace. You're not alone." Her voice cut through the machine's control. Jace stood, again, and he smiled. "You picked the wrong human." He raised his arm and fired a signal flare. It hit the ceiling and a timed charge exploded. The roof collapsed. Cold wind from outside rushed in, and with it, Queen Zelyara. She had come with her own elite guard. As her ship hovered above the base, her forces dropped in with shields and heavy weapons. Together they fought side by side, humans and Zalari, crystal warriors and metal techs. The machine screamed. Jace ran to its core, pulled out a fusion knife, and sliced through the main cable. The blue light faded. The control ended. The room fell silent. Later, in the command ship, Queen Zelyara spoke, quietly to Jace. "You were right again," she said. "There was something hiding. Something old and dangerous." Jace leaned back, still tired. The swarm didn't build that machine. But they wanted to use it. We stopped them this time. But they'll try again. The Queen sat beside him. "Your team saved this galaxy twice now." Jace shook his head. "Not just my team, yours too. We're not two sides anymore. We're one." She looked at him carefully. "Some still say a human should not stand at my side." Jace replied, "Let them talk. We'll keep winning." She smiled, a rare thing. Then she said something that surprised him. "I chose you for more than just war." He blinked. "What do you mean?" "I see how you lead," she said. "How you speak truth even when it's hard. I want that beside me, not just in battle." Jace stayed quiet for a moment, then answered softly, "Then I'll stay. As long as I'm needed." She nodded. "You are." Far away, on a dark world, the Draxon swarm watched the stars. A new leader stepped from a hive ship, taller, with sharp wings and glowing red eyes. Behind it floated pieces of the broken mind. "Machine," the creature hissed. Then it turned to a new target. Earth. The stars above Earth were peaceful. Children played under the blue sky. People walked in parks, visited shops, and laughed with family. No one looked up. No one knew what was coming. But Jace Carter did. He stood on the balcony of Queen Zelyara's command ship, watching Earth from orbit. His home, his past, and now, the Draxon's next target. Behind him, Queen Zelyara walked quietly. She wore black and silver armor, her crown glowing like fire. "They will attack soon," she said. Jace nodded. "I know, and Earth isn't ready." "We will protect it," she said. "Together." He looked at her. "Even if it costs everything?" Her golden eyes held his. Yes. Back in the war chamber, the leaders of both Earth and the Zalari Empire had gathered. Human generals, alien commanders, Union diplomats, and the fire team unbroken. A large screen showed the enemy, the Draxan Queen, a massive creature with wings like knives and eyes like burning coals. She had activated the broken pieces of the mind machine, turning them into a new weapon called the Voice. "She doesn't just control minds now," said Meki. "She changes them, twists thoughts, turns allies into enemies." Sarah frowned. "She could turn Earth's armies against each other." Jace stood up. "Then we don't wait for her to come to us. We take the fight to her, before she lands a single claw on Earth." General Corrin asked, "Where is she hiding?" "Queen Mai." Zelyara spoke calmly. "A shadow world called Jarek Prime. It's where the swarm grows." Jace pointed to the map. "Then that's where we go." They called it Operation Shieldfire. 3 fleets launched together: Zelari battleships, human carriers, crystal cruisers, and strange machines from the Union. It was the biggest force the galaxy had seen in over 100 years. Jace led the main strike team. Fire Team Unbroken stood beside him once more, ready for their final mission. As the ships jumped into hyperspace, Queen Zelyara spoke to her people on every channel. "This war is not for power. It is not for land. It is for life. Life, your children's, and all who wish to be free. Stand with me now, and we will not fall." The fleet roared forward into battle. Jarek Prime was worse than they imagined. It was a world covered in darkness, with giant spires reaching into the sky. The air was thick with ash. Draxan ships flew like insects, protecting the Queen's nest deep inside a crater. The battle began fast. Explosions lit up the sky. Lasers sliced through enemy wings. Ships burned and fell, but the swarm kept coming, wave after wave, screaming and biting and clawing. Jace's team landed near the crater. Their goal was clear: get inside, find the Voice, and destroy it. But as they moved through tunnels of black stone, they heard whispers. "You will fail. You are." "We can turn back." The Voice was already working. Varnak shouted, "Cover your ears, it's trying to get in." But it wasn't sound. It was thought. Fear. Doubt. Regret. Sarah dropped to one knee. "I see my sister. She's crying." Threx glowed blue, trying to calm her. Jace touched her shoulder. "It's not real. Hold on to now. Hold on to us." She blinked and nodded. The fear faded. They moved forward. Inside the core chamber, the Draxan Queen waited. She was massive, taller than 10 men with wings spread wide. The Voice machine floated above her, powered by the stolen parts of Zelari tech. She looked at Jace. "You again," she hissed. "The human who stands with aliens. The fool." Jace aimed his rifle. "Better a fool than a coward. You could have ruled your people. You could have been a king on Earth." "I'd rather be a soldier," he said, "for the right cause." The Draxan Queen screamed, and the final battle began. Varnax and Threx fought the guards, blades and bullets flying. Meki hacked the power systems, trying to shut the Voice down. Sarah flew a drone around the Queen, drawing her fire. Jace ran straight for the core. The Voice screamed louder, blasting thoughts into his mind. "You are alone. No one cares. She will leave you. Your world will burn." But Jace had learned something in this war. He was not alone. He remembered Queen Zelyara's voice, steady and strong. He remembered his team, brave and loyal. He remembered Earth, his mother's smile, his father's hands, the fields he used to run in. He shouted into the storm of thought, "I choose my path." Then he leaped. With one strike, he drove a fusion blade deep into the Voice. The machine exploded in blue light. The control ended. The Draxan Queen fell back, shrieking. Without the Voice, her army grew confused. Ships lost direction. Ground soldiers froze. And above, Queen Zelyara gave the final order. "Finish this." Her fleet rained fire on the swarm. One by one, their ships fell. The crater shook. Jarek Prime began to crack. Jace ran from the Voice chamber as the walls collapsed behind him. His team pulled him up into a shuttle just as the ground broke apart. The war was over. Back on Earth, people looked up and cheered. Ships flew in the sky, but they were peaceful now. Human and Zilari soldiers stood side by side. Flags of many worlds flew together. In a great ceremony, Queen Zelyara spoke to all of Earth. Your people fought bravely. You stood strong against fear. And one of your own stood taller than all, Commander Jace Carter. The crowd roared. Jace stepped forward, not in armor, but in a clean suit, simple and proud. He didn't speak much, just raised his hand and smiled. Later, in the quiet of the palace garden, Jace and the Queen walked side by side. No more battles, he said. No more voice, she added. He looked at her. So, what now? She paused. Now we build, she said. Together. He nodded. I never thought I'd be here, a human, in your world. She turned to face him. You're not in my world, Jace. You're part of it. She reached out and gently held his hand. He didn't pull away. Together they looked up at the stars. This time they were peaceful. This time they were free.